Well, the times they are changing. Representative Josh West, good to have you in.
Hey, good to be here. Thanks for having me.
For Leader Echols, good morning, Representative Dunnington.
Morning.
You saw the first executive orders of this new chief executive. Things are changing in a hurry. Those people are talking about the executive orders. Your thoughts?
Yeah, there's lots of stuff in the executive orders. I mean, we're selling airplanes and changing up how we do things here at the state. I think one of the important things I'd like to focus on this morning was an executive order that dealt with classified and unclassified positions with the state. The governor's lifting the hiring freeze, saying that we should be able to hire as many unclassified new employees as possible. The problem with that, or not necessarily a problem, but the issue is not so much being a classified employee or unclassified. It's just, are we going to pay a living wage to our state employees? They have yet to get the raises that many of our teachers have had. It won't matter if you're classified or unclassified if you don't make enough money to work for the state. So that's something we really need to work on, is employee wages.
And I think they will this session. You saw those executive orders, lots to talk about. Representative West, what do you think?
Yeah, I was there at the press conference with a couple of colleagues, and I think what stood out to me was, you know, the governor ran on transparency, and one of the first executive orders that he issued was requiring the agencies to report the money that's been spent since 2015 on contract lobbyists. You know, and what most people don't know is that the Ethics Commission perpetuates this bloat by requiring the agencies have a lobbyist, and in return they raise the fees on the lobbyists and make money off of them. So that's one thing that stood out with me. You know, it was good to see the, get rid of assets that we don't need with selling the airplane, as well as his cabinet members. He surrounds himself with good people.
All right, one of the things that's happening now is this first budget. The deliberations are underway. It's looking a little bit different. He says he's going to bring in leadership before he rolls the budget out. Your thoughts on Governor Stitt's budget process?
Absolutely. So, you know, we got a lot of new members right now. We currently have 46 new members, and so we're having these budget oversight committee hearings, you know, for the next 2 weeks. We're going to have extra money this year. How much, I don't know, but I know the focus will still be education. It's going to be criminal justice reform. It's going to be mental health, rural hospitals. And like I said, we're going to have extra money, and I think we'll be able to spread some of that out. And people are optimistic. People are excited. We got a new governor, and I know that the members, both Republican and Democrat, are excited.
So it's a little bit different process. In the past, you just found out about it, right? The day of the state of the state. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I think that it's good that the governor has started early in the process. Look, there are a lot of new people, as Representative West has alluded to. Not only are there new members in the House, but there's new members in the Senate. And the state's budget is a really complicated piece of policy. It takes a long time to kind of wrap your mind around, and I'm glad that a lot of the new people are in the next couple of weeks learning about the budget process. We're going to prioritize spending on education. We're going to prioritize spending on criminal justice reform. We need to prioritize spending on mental health and drug courts and a number of other issues that, with having more revenue this year, we can start reinvesting in a sound way.
One of those investments we're hearing about is that he may be talking about more teacher pay increases, more money into Common Ed. The little bit of intrigue is this governor is reaching out. It's pretty clear that he's going to be very close to the current superintendent, Joy Hoffmeister. The previous governor was a Barisi person, right? I mean, it's a worst kept secret in town. Your thoughts about Governor Stitt and Secretary Hoffmeister working closely together?
Well, I think those positions do need to work together. I mean, Joy Hoffmeister got elected to be the superintendent of education for the entire state. So her task is to be the liaison, to be the voice of education and educators across the state, not only for them, but for our children. So she made a lot of promises as she ran for re-election this time up. We need to take the second step in teacher pay as we get into this session, but we also need to make sure that we're focused on classroom spending. We're focused on per pupil spending. We're focused on lowering the amount of class size as far as teachers to student ratio. There's a lot of work there to do, so all hands on deck.
Your thoughts about the governor's relationship, professional, working together with the superintendent?
Oh, it's exciting to see, and like Representative Dunnington said, it's imperative that they do have this relationship. You know, that's one thing the governor campaigned on, as well as me and Representative Dunnington too, is education. I don't know anybody who doesn't campaign on that. And last year it was very exciting to see that we did make some progress towards education. We passed some revenue, and the first revenue since 1017. We passed the first teacher pay raise since in over 10 years. And so I know that is a priority for Governor Stitt, and he's looking forward to carrying this on. And so we'll get our orders from the governor and where we take this.
All right, and last topic this morning, there was a conference this week put on by the Department of Corrections, meaning Joe Albaugh had this conference. He's backed off his request for 2 new prisons. Now he's talking about the woefully underfunded workers at the Department of Corrections. That's one. Second, there is this whole effort towards criminal justice reform. You've got extremes on both ends battling it out over what that means, that definition. Your thoughts?
Well, absolutely. You know, we did work on the state employee pay raise last year. That they did get an increase. They are an important part of the state and part of the process. If you're looking at criminal justice reform, that's something that's very near and dear to my heart. My wife's a mental health therapist, and so I talk about it often, the importance of getting people mental health treatment when they're younger, and they probably won't end up in prison. And so this past year, I was appointed by the governor to be on the Implementation Commission for Criminal Justice Reform, and so I'm excited to see criminal justice take a forefront with the governor, and we need a lot of changes, obviously, and we have to meet common ground in the middle.
The common ground in the middle, do you think we know what's going to look like?
Well, first of all, it's really important to have so many different groups in the same room talking about the same issue. Criminal justice reform is something that the state of Oklahoma and its people want, but you need to have all of the players in the room, the DAs, DOC, the legislators, policymakers, and having them all together talking about the same thing is crucially important, especially this early at the beginning of session. So really pleased to see that. We will get movement on criminal justice reform this year, and it'll be a great thing for the state. It's just good to see everybody talking and on the same page so early.
Thanks, gentlemen. Thanks for watching Your Vote Counts. See this again at news9.com/yourvotecounts. Follow me, Scott Mitchell, at Twitter @MitchellTalks.